Have you ever received a package you couldn't open? Maybe it's a jar with a lid that just won't budge. Or one of those plastic clamshell packages that seem to require industrial-grade lasers to get into. It's frustrating, right? You have the thing, it's right there in your hands, but it's completely useless to you. Well, in the world of software and creative projects, we do this to each other all the time. We send these unopenable packages, and we call it delivery. Today, I want to talk about what it really means to deliver something. It's more than just sending a file or a link. It's about making sure the person on the other end can actually use what you've sent them. This might sound simple, but it's the single biggest point of failure in almost every collaborative project I've ever seen. We focus so much on creating the thing that we forget about the most important part, the handoff. We build a beautiful, intricate tool, but we deliver it in a box that's been welded shut. Let's dive into what makes a successful delivery. I've broken it down into 3 key ideas: transport, the deliverables themselves, and something I call discoverability. Think of it like this. Transport is how you get the package to someone's doorstep. The deliverables are the contents inside the package. And discoverability is making sure they know the package has arrived and understand what to do with it. Let's start with transport. In the physical world, this is pretty straightforward. You use a courier, a postal service, or you hand it to someone directly. In the digital world, we have things like email, Slack, Google Drive, or more technical tools like Git. The method you choose matters. Sending a massive file over email that gets blocked by a size limit is a failed transport. Sharing a Google Doc with someone but forgetting to give them access permission is a failed transport. The package never even made it to their hands effectively. Choosing the right transport method is step 1. It needs to be reliable, accessible to the recipient, and appropriate for the size and type of what you're sending. Now, let's talk about the deliverables, the actual stuff inside the box. This is where our logistics metaphor gets really useful. Imagine you're not just sending a package. You're delivering cargo to a warehouse. A successful delivery isn't just about dropping the container on the street outside. No, a real delivery driver makes sure the warehouse has a receiving dock to unload the cargo. In our digital world, that receiving dock is the ability for the user to run or execute the code. For a developer, this might mean having the right programming language version installed. For a designer, it might mean having the correct font or software. If your project requires special setup and you haven't accounted for it, you've just dropped a shipping container in the middle of a field with no crane in sight. The recipient has the cargo, but they have no way to get it off the truck. This is why things like Docker containers or virtual environments are so popular in tech. They are essentially self-contained receiving docks, bundled right with the cargo. But even with a receiving dock, what good is a pile of boxes without a packing slip or instructions? That's our next piece. Every delivery needs instructions, a README file. This is the manual that tells the recipient what they've just received, why it's important, and most crucially, what to do with it. A good set of instructions doesn't assume anything. It starts from 0. It tells you first, unpack this box. Inside, you'll find these 3 components. Component A connects to component B like this. For a software project, a README should explain how to install dependencies, how to run the program, and how to test it. It should point out where the main files are and what they do. Without these instructions, the recipient is left to guess. They might spend hours trying to figure out a process that would have taken you 5 minutes to write down. A delivery without instructions is like giving someone a complex IKEA furniture set, but you've thrown away the manual with all the little diagrams. Good luck building that bookshelf. It's probably going to end up as a pile of wood in the corner. So we have transport to get it there, and we have the deliverables, which include both the cargo and the instructions to use it. But there's a third, often overlooked element that ties it all together: discoverability. Discoverability means the recipient can easily find what they need when they need it. Imagine our warehouse again. The cargo has been unloaded, the packing slip is there, but everything has been stored in random, unmarked boxes scattered across a massive dark warehouse. The stuff is technically there, but it's lost. It's not discoverable. In our digital projects, this happens all the time. We put crucial information in a forgotten email thread from 3 months ago. The design mockups are buried in a sub folder with a generic name like Final V2 Updated New. The code is on a personal repository that no one else on the team knows exists. This is a failure of discoverability. For a project to be truly delivered, its key components must be easy to find. This is why teams create WICAS, central documentation hubs, or maintain a clear and consistent folder structure in a shared drive. The goal is to create a single source of truth. When someone new joins the project, or when you come back to it 6 months later, you shouldn't have to go on a digital scavenger hunt. You should be able to go to one place and discover everything you need to get started. The location of the code, the design files, the documentation, the project management board, it should all be linked from a central, discoverable entry point. So let's bring it all together. The core insight here is that true delivery isn't about marking a task as done. It's a process of empowerment. You are empowering the next person in the chain to be able to use your work. If your work isn't discoverable, launchable, and understandable, it's as good as not shipped. It's a tree falling in a forest with no one around to hear it. It's that unopenable jar sitting on the counter. The potential is there, but it's locked away, completely inaccessible. The value hasn't been transferred. Think about the last project you finished. Did you just zip up the files and email them? Or did you think about the person on the other end? Did you provide a receiving doc by making sure they have the right environment to run it? Did you include the instructions in a clear, easy-to-find README file? And is the whole package stored in a warehouse where anyone who needs it can easily find it? If the answer to any of these is no, then the delivery wasn't truly complete. This brings us to a really interesting question. If my goal is to empower everyone on my team, or even everyone in the world, to be able to use the thing I've built, what is the most universal entry point I can create? What is the one receiving doc that almost everyone already has? For years, the answer has been evolving. It used to be an executable file you could download, but that required the right operating system. Then came Java's promise of write once, run anywhere, which tried to solve the receiving doc problem but had its own complexities. But today, the answer is overwhelmingly clear: the web browser. Almost every computer, every phone, every tablet has a web browser. It is the most universal, standardized, and accessible application runtime in the world. When you deliver something as a web page or a web application, you don't have to worry if the user has Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. You don't have to ask them to install a specific programming language or download a special library. The receiving doc is already built in. All they need is a URL, a simple link. That link becomes the ultimate entry point. From that single link, you can provide everything. The application itself runs right there. You can link to the source code on GitHub. You can link to the detailed documentation. You can link to the design files in Figma. You can link to the project plan in Trello. Everything becomes discoverable from one single, universally accessible place. This is why building for the web is so powerful. It's the ultimate solution to the delivery problem. It bundles the transport, the deliverable, and the discoverability into one elegant package, the hyperlink. So next time you're about to send that final version email, take a moment. Pause and think like a logistics expert. Are you just throwing a package over the fence, or are you ensuring a smooth, successful delivery? Are you handing them a locked box, or are you giving them a key? Because the difference between a project that gets used and a project that gets forgotten often comes down to that simple act of empathy. Make your work discoverable, make it launchable, and make it understandable. That is the true art of delivery. Thanks so much for watching. If this idea of making work more accessible and effective resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. We talk all about this stuff. See you in the next one.